Hello shape enthusiasts, and welcome back to another episode of our insane factory. Last episode we finished off milestone number 1. That allowed us to unlock fluids and fluid mixers. On insane difficulty we also don't have access to the regular stacker, so we had to make ourselves a lovely new Mark 1 blueprint of the bent stacker. This episode, we're going to try to upscale everything to the second level and double up our production. Now that we have access to painters, it means we can go slightly further out to grab some shapes that we can paint ourselves to maybe make some of these milestone 2 shapes. Let's have a look at milestone 2 and see ultimately what we want to do. I want a beeline for it because that will unlock trains, and once we have trains we won't have issues with our platform limits anymore. And we'll be able to do a lot of interesting things. But essentially this is going to need just a blue square, a blue circle. Then we're going to need a red windmill. On this side we're going to need a red circle, a red windmill. And on this side we're going to need a green circle and a green windmill. There's a lot of crisscrossies happening. But we might have to take this shape because we don't have access to our cutter and our swapper at the moment. This milestone might have to be done up from quarters again. So we'll figure out the most efficient way to do this. We need all 3 colors, and then from all 3 colors we need pretty much all 3 shapes except for the star. No, we do need the star too. So we basically need all 4 shapes and all 3 colors. So we'll just find somewhere nice to do that. Since we're building things from quarters, let's just find somewhere close that has an RGB. Wow, there is literally nowhere close that has an RGB. We might have to do this separately. We're going to have to rebuild these milestone shapes anyway one day, so I guess we'll just do it separately. We need one section with red and blue, and then another section with red and green. So there's red and blue over here, and there's red and green over here. Is there windmills over here though? There's one over here. There's circles right next to the red. I don't see any other way to do this other than cut it from quarters, unless I can find this shape, this red windmill and circle. Let's try using this filter. So we want a windmill and then we want a circle. Is that what I want? Yes, this is the shape that I want. But there's no red around there. There's no red around this one either. We can go a little bit further out. Let me test how far we can go out, because I don't want to do this and then run out of platforms to belt. So to get out here is like 100 platform units and will take forever. But it has all the shape bits that I need. And green and this as well. There's RGB all here. We might be able to just do it here. Alright. Hey, guess what? We finished one of our pin tasks, unlocking us 8 points. Unfortunately, that doesn't really help us out too much. But now that that task is done, we should start off this task and get ourselves some points. Or so hard to figure out what order to do things in. Let me strip away this shape so that we know what we don't need. So all of this is for this shape. So we don't need any of this stuff anymore. I'm going to even get rid of some of these platforms that we're not using anymore. So we'll get rid of all of this and all of this. Okay, that gets rid of the pin tasks. I might be able to now grab the stuff I need for this pin task, because it's just a red circle and a blue square. Do I have a spare blue square I can grab? Yes. I have a spare red circle, blue square, and then do I have 2 regular squares? I could possibly get it from there. It's a little bit annoying, but we'll just leave it for now. The other thing I'm tempted to do is just do it here, because it's a little bit closer. We just bring the red. These asteroids are still not big enough to do anything at a decent volume yet. Like, can I do this all at 2 volumes, 2 levels basically? Not really. Because these asteroids are still reasonably small. I should be able to double it up. They're not as small as these asteroids. Let's try to double it up and see if we can't do it. We need to start working on 2 levels. Otherwise, all of this stuff is going to progress so very slowly. So I'm going to build my miner Mark II over here. This will now start extracting things on 2 levels because this miner extracts it on the 1st level. This one will extract it onto the 2nd level, and then they're going to merge it onto a space belt. So now we're getting 2 rows of this shape. We need to extract 2 rows of this shape twice because we need to flip one of them. Now that we're using everything in row 2, we're going to start putting it that way. So I'm going to put my miner Mark II over here on my bar. Now in my Mark II blueprints, I should have all the stuff that I need. For example, a clockwise Mark II rotator. So now if I say rotate this twice, that should be the opposite side to this. I might want to just do everything into the right rotation. No, I don't, because I don't have a counterclockwise rotator. And I have to just have faith this is the right shape. So the first thing that we need to do is redesign our stacker blueprint as a Mark II blueprint, because this is a Mark I blueprint. Now, I don't think I can fit, well, I don't think I want to fit a Mark II blueprint onto a single platform because the belting already looks pretty insane at the moment. So we might just do this on a Mark II platform. I will create a lot of space because one day we're going to have to make a Mark III version of this. So it still works exactly the same way as the Mark I one, except I would just need a second of this. And then we need to route our belts in, and we'll figure out how to do that. So like that. And let's figure out how to route the belts in. So all the belts on this side need to come over here and then drop to the bottom row. I have faith we'll be able to get these out somehow. Let's not block them too much. If you're enjoying the video and you want to support Data Engineer Plays, don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to share them in the comment section. But the stuff over here can't directly come onto the 2nd row because it's being blocked. You can't do that. So we might need to redesign the positioning of this a little bit better. Where can we put these little modules? We'll start from foundations again. I can put them here like this next to each other. I can also put them opposite one another, but that doesn't really help me. If I put them next to each other, I can link up the outputs like this. So for example, if I did it like this now, then let's go from down here. We'll bring that one in there. That one in there. That one in there, but we probably need to move everything out 1 tile. Something like that. There's our bottom layer input, and then now this is going to be the top layer input. So we'll bring it as far on the bottom layer as we can. So something like this. But then if I do that, I block all my top layer inputs. We need some room for the top layer to come out over the top and then to the bottom again. Because ultimately we're going to need another 4 of these at some point, somewhere. Preferably like this. I can put it like this. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to get rid of this for now. We'll figure out how we're going to get these out in a bit. From the top layer, we need to bring it to the bottom layer over here. So I'm going to get rid of these top layer inputs. Can we jump them over? This top part is not being used, so we should be able to jump them over like this. If we jump them over like that, do we have enough room to do all this? This is where the double belt threading would have been useful. Because I can still build down here, right? Yeah. 2, 3. If we... It should be okay as long as we shift everything up a little bit. So what if we did something like this? We'll flip it, and then we'll have the first one at least just do a straight path, make it a little bit easier. We'll get the second one in like that. The third one in there. And the fourth one in there. Great. Now this can even shift back one because of that little optimization. Now we can jump these over. Like say 1, 2, 3, 4. So they need to be on the second floor. We'll copy this over. They need at least one tile to head down, but I'll give it a little bit of room because it needs to be based on this tile having enough room. So one more. Like that. And that. Except they all need to be downstairs. So after they jump, I'll immediately push them downstairs. Then do we still have enough room to do this maneuver? We would need to move them out one more tile. Like that. And that gets the second layer into the bottom. Now we need to get the first layer into the tops. Which is fine because we can do something like this. We can jump them over here. And then do something like this. 1, 2. This one is a little bit awkward. Not really. We can just push this one this way. And then this one's there. That works out. We'll do the second layer first. So we'll do something like this. That. This one's a little bit awkward. We can go up first and then turn. And then this fourth one will need to go up first and then into here. Does that work? We can jump and land here. We can jump this and land here. We can jump this and land here. That all seems to work. Clean this up a little bit. Clean this up a little bit. We'll get them all going up at the same spot. Make it nice and clean. Like that. So that gets one bit up. Now the second layer needs to go over to this side. So this is where the little hopping over here helps out a little bit. Because we can just get it out like this. And then we can just jump it over here. In fact, you know, instead of doing this super messily, why don't we jump this one over here? We'll jump that. And then we'll land here. Now this one should be able to get out. Is there a better way I can do this? Not really. It's a little bit messy already. It's not the most elegant design I've done. But this top one needs to go into the top there. So we can jump this. And then we can go through here. This second one will also need to do some jumping. Like that. And then go in there. This third one will also need to do some jumping. Like that. And then go in there. And then this fourth one will need to go in there. And then we can probably do another section of these over here somewhere. And that should clean up that a lot more. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. But that's all the inputs done. We still got to do all the outputs. So if we hide this output needs to merge with this output. And then it needs to go out. There's an output. There's an output. There's an output. Now all of this can go onto the second level. And then the stuff over here can go into the first level. One output. Two outputs. Three outputs. Might need to change this a little bit to give it some room. Might need to borrow the upstairs a little bit as well. We got one output there. One output there. We can turn that this way. This one can jump. This is not the most elegant design I've done, so I'm still warming up. But this one and this one need to merge at some point. So if we take this output and feed it upstairs, then this one can come out like this, and maybe this can go upstairs as well. So we take this one upstairs. Maybe we don't want this one upstairs. This one can be downstairs. This one can be upstairs. Now we need to get a couple of these outputs out. Let's see what we can do upstairs and downstairs. So upstairs only has pretty much two channels. So we can say take this one upstairs. Hop it over. There's one out. Take this one upstairs and just go around the side here. There's three out. Now these two need to go downstairs. So this one can just hop its way out, right? No, it can't. Unless I merge these better. And then get it going upstairs like this. Then this can hop its way out. We'll move this output. You can't do it on the bit that merges, but we can do that output there. That way this one can hop its way out. Land here, and that's an output. So we can do that one for this one, and then this one can just walk out. So I see three outputs upstairs, and then one of these two can be upstairs. Doesn't really matter. Or one of these can be upstairs. Doesn't really matter. It's completely all mishmashed now. It doesn't really matter which one goes where. This is not the prettiest stacker design, but it should function. Pretty arbitrary which belt I take upstairs. We'll just take this one. Do two like this. No, we'll do these two like this. Downstairs, we'll take two out. that. Move that back 1. And then grab these 2 out as well. Just like that. And it's not the prettiest design in the world, but it's my Mark II design. I don't really care. We'll pay more attention in the Mark III design. What are you complaining about? That's what we want. But more importantly, does it work? Does it work? Let's test it. So now this is the top, isn't it? So top and bottom don't matter in this case. And if I just draw a long space belt somewhere, let's just see if this saturates and works as we expect. We're looking for full saturation on these belts over here. At least I can see all 8 of my belts, kind of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I can see if they're all fully saturated or not. That looks pretty close to fully saturated to me. So I'm going to save this blueprint. We'll call this Stacker Bent Mark II. So we'll check our Stacker Bent over here. And that's it. That's the shape that we want. Now we can paint it. So our first painting project. Our red is coming from here. So let's start building our fluid miner. I'm pretty sure I have a painter Mark II, right? Do I not have fluid extractors saved as a blueprint somewhere? Apparently not. We'll just quickly build one. So a fluid miner, 3 extensions. Then we need to get our fluid pumps, get our pipe. 2. Copy that, flip it. There's our fluid miner that goes onto the first level. Now we need a fluid miner that can go onto the second level. Up, up, and up. That should work. Now we need our space pipe, like this. And this should be saved as a fluid miner Mark II. Go to our blueprints. Maybe move these over across a little bit. Put our fluid miner Mark II there. Stacker Bent Mark II there. And there we go. There's our 2 rows of fluids. That fluid needs to walk itself all the way over to where our shape is. And then we're going to put a painter Mark II somewhere. Let's have a look if our old painting blueprint works. Does this still function fine? See how we've got double jumps over here? This is the old school jumper, and I'm not sure if they still function. They still do, because they're at the maximum jump distance. Somehow this thing knows not to jump to this one. Because you'd think in the new system, it wouldn't be able to distinguish this, but somehow it knows. That's cool. So that means my old blueprints still work. Or does it? Because nothing's coming out here. We might just need to wait for the red to travel its way over here. But I'm not getting a shape preview here that's saying I'm getting the red circle, but that's okay. We can work on the blue for now. Now we've got blue squares over here, so we can just shape extract 2 sets of blue squares here. We'll get a Mark II miner. We'll need to rotate the square part into the top right corner, which will require 3 rotations. That should get the square on the top right. And then if I go into my Mark II blueprints, I should have cutter quarter. Put that on my hotbar. And that should be a quarter cut. And that should just be a simple blue square. I think these asteroids are almost big enough now I can just do my other square over here. So one of them is going to be a blue square, one of them is going to be an uncolored square. We get our Mark II fluid miner over here. Where's my platform? My platform is here. We should do everything into the direction of the platform. Make things very, very ever so slightly faster. Get a pipe going across over here. And then we'll test if our Mark II painter even works here. So we'll flip it and do something like that. Get the fluid in, and does this give me a blue square? Still doesn't give me a shape preview. I have a feeling my painter's not actually working, but I can't verify that until I get some paint. So we're getting the paint in. Let's see once a shape comes in here. This will be slightly faster, although it still takes forever to travel across here. Man, these slow belts are killing my life. It takes me so long to even verify this painter situation. Oh well, we'll just be patient and wait. Remember, while we're waiting, our operator shape is still going, and once that reaches 15k, we'll get some extra points. Once we have operator levels, we should be able to unlock the cutter, which will be very fun. With a cutter and bin, I'll be able to do things a lot more efficiently. Did they change the painters at all? 30, 30, 300, 300. A pipe carries 7,200, which is 4 lots of 1,800. I feel like they've changed the painter's input output. Oh, no, wait. I haven't got painting speed yet. So my painters are a little bit slow for now. Interesting. We'll have to verify if they work or not first, and then we'll worry about saturation later. My first shapes are finally arriving. Let's see if they go to where they're meant to go. Yeah, they're getting painted. Why is my shape preview not showing? That's really weird. Okay, so that's working. Really, we should have brought this along for the ride while we were at it, because then they need to go into a stacker. I'm just trying to figure out which one to rotate. Finally, the shape preview is showing up. So if we rotate this clockwise, that's not going to give us what we want. If we rotate this clockwise, that should give us what we want. Then into a stacker. Order doesn't really matter. And that should give us this shape, which is this shape. It's oriented the wrong way. But we should be able to deliver our very first shape into the vortex now. We'll deliver this one down here a little bit out of the way. Like that. Then we'll go under and then up and in. That should work. That gets this shape going. Knowing that the painter works, in theory, this should now be the correct shape too. So we'll get that shape into the other side of the vortex, which is over here. A bit of a long travel route, but what can you do at this point in the game? Go under these platforms. Nope. Back up. Nope. We'll just go to this one. Up here and in there. It's the worst routing ever, but what can I do? I want to keep this shape going because I want some points. The operator level gives us 2. That gives us 10, so we can unlock the cutter and the trash now, which will help us out a lot in terms of efficiency. So let's go ahead and unlock these two because we can't get the swapper yet. Either that or we get our rotators done first. We can get our 2 rotators. Oh, that's so much more convenient. So many choices. No, I think the cutter and the trash will help us out more. Oh, I nearly unlocked the wrong thing. All right, we've got the cutter and the trash, so some new tools at our disposal, thankfully. And we'll definitely put them to use in a bit. So our milestone shapes are now going. While that's happening, what we can do is start working on this pin task. Now that we have a cutter, maybe it'll be easier. Like, we might have an easier time doing this. For example, the cutter can get more than, or we can get like 2 belts out of this one asteroid if we needed to. But does that help us out anywhere else? Not really, because we're still using all this crap for our milestone 1 shape. Trying to find a place to do this that doesn't involve a lot of stuff, because we're gonna have to look at all the progression of this shape later. Trying to find a red and blue circles that we can use, because circles is gonna be a thing. Yeah, everything's like so far away. Well, we can take all the red circles we need from this red quarter circle thing, and then we have blue bits that we need over here. There's a blue, but is there a square around here that we can use? Because we're gonna need a lot of blue squares. How big is this asteroid? Pretty big. We can use the squares from here, I guess. Yeah, given distance is an issue, I think I'm just gonna do this the easy way and just take all the squares I need out of here. And we'll just use Mark 1 for everything here, because I don't feel like I have enough of everything for Mark 2. Maybe I do, because this asteroid is quite big. That asteroid should be big enough if we use our cutter. Not really, because yeah, it's not going to be big enough. Oh man, this is so difficult. I feel like it's better to just wait for our trains, honestly. Like we can build, since we're waiting anyway, we can build a very bespoke setup for this, because we just need to take out one of the quarters from here, but we don't have a blueprint that does that. So we'll just do a very bespoke blueprint for this, and then we can at least get this started, and then we'll work on what we need to work on as we go. I think that's a good idea. So at least we can get the first two parts of this shape going, and then maybe we'll have unlocked trains by the time the rest of it comes out. So if we take this, and then we'll build a custom platform to deal with this. I'm just going to build it on a 2x2 platform for now, and we'll just play with one of these. I essentially want to cut away the bottom left corner of this. And now that we have our cutter, we should be able to do this a lot better. Hey, did they change how this works? No, cutters still remain the same. Why is it at such an awkward number? 22.2. I'm confused why this is at a weird number. Because isn't a cutter's upgrade the same as everything else? Yeah, the cutting speed is here. Did they change the speed of the cutter? What the heck is 22.2? 4 cutters would be too slow. 5 cutters would be too fast. The heck? Is this just an awkward number because my level's at 2? I'm wondering how many cutters I should build. But I guess we just won't be super efficient, right? So one belt is 4 cutters, and that gets us our shape. And what we want to get rid of is this bottom left corner. So we'll rotate, and then we'll half destroy. Then we just need to stack them on top of each other. If I put it here, and then we raise this like that. Sorry, I need to rotate something. We'll need to rotate something twice, because we don't have the counterclockwise rotator yet. These bespoke shapes are so terrible to do. Rotate it once. Put my stacker, say, here. And then we'll go up and in like that. That gets us our 3/4 shape that we need. It's in the wrong rotation, but that should be fine. And that's one belt. If I flip this one, that should work the same way, right? Save 1 tile of space. And that's my module that I need to make. And we need 4 of these modules. If I take it this way, maybe it'll be easier. Like that. Move that one out 1 tile. Can move these in 1 tile. Bring 2 of them in like that. Then we bring 2 of them in here. Then we should be able to bring all of this out. Just like that, and we're getting kind of a full belt of this stuff, because this is 22.2 each. 4 of them would be 88 out of the 90 for some reason. Really weird. I don't ever remember Shapez having an awkward non-balanced item for this, but it evens out at the next level because we can see that the cutter speed then goes from 22 back to a normal even divisible number to the conveyor belt. Really weird choice. But this should give us our 3/4 of a shape. That needs to merge with 1/4 of a shape, which we will take from somewhere. So I'm going to bring this belt over here. We'll hop under and then pop it back up here. And we'll take the 1/4 of a shape from here. So we'll just steal one of these, chuck it this way, put on the extension units that we need. Then is this already a quarter cutter? Looks like a quarter cutter to me. There's our 1/4 of a shape. It's in the bottom right, but we want it on the top left. So we would need 2 rotators. I know these are Mark II rotators, but it doesn't really matter. There's no copy and paste cost in this game. So now that will be at the top right, and now we just need to stack these on top of one another. And we'll steal one of these stackers. And that should get us the final shape that we want, which is the blue square and the red quarter circle. That needs to go down and into something. Ugh, it's terrible. I'm gonna take this down. I'm gonna take this up. Open up this part. And then bring that up here. Get that going again. Why did I do that? Because then I can take this down, pop it up here, and do something like that. We obviously need some belts to do the delivery. And now we can work on our milestone shape again. Cool. So we finished that shape. This one has progressed to this, which is super annoying. This one needs to be laid on top of a green version of this shape. Both of this progression is a little bit annoying. So we need to make the green of this shape. Let's see where we can do that. We can make it out of quarters from this. Paint it green. And then the semicircle part, we can make it out of quarters from here as well. We need to find another semicircle. Where's the green? We can build the semicircle out of there, and it's got the star as well. So we can pretty much do it all out of here. Let's see if we can't do that. Because this one's reasonably close to the green. I can loop it around the back. Let me make sure while I'm doing that, this shape is indeed correct. Yeah, it is green ticked. I kind of don't want to use my cutters, but I don't think I can fit 4 iterations of my Mark II miner in here. Can I mine this shape 4 times? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can mine it 4 times. And since I can mine it 4 times, I should be able to get all 4 copies of this shape out. Let's get the 2 semicircle parts out. We're just going to do this all in the most inefficient way possible. So we will need to rotate that twice. Rotate that twice. Quarter cut it. That gets me my semicircles. We'll quarter cut this. That'll get me my windmill parts. Now we just need to rotate and piece this all together. Try to do this in the least amount of rotations possible. So this semicircle, assuming is in the right spot, we need to rotate this one twice. Then we can piece this together. like that. That should get me my diagonal semicircles. We'll rotate this twice. Stack this together. Like that. That should get me my this diagonal windmills. Then we should be able to just rotate that once. That'll get the diagonal windmills opposite to this. Then we simply just stack this together. And that should get me my shape. Right? We need to paint that shape green. So we need our fluid. Bring our fluid pipe over here. We would need to bring this shape somewhere around here. Let's just paint this first. Bring it over. Chuck our painter down. Like that. And then we'll bring this shape up a bit. Where's the vortex? The vortex is down here, so it's better to bring this shape down here. Like that. Then we'll take the results of this painting and this shape, which is this rotated correctly though? Where have all my shape previews gone? Yes, this shape is rotated correctly. So we would need to rotate this shape correctly too, which it's currently not. So we just need to stick a 90-degree rotation on it somewhere. Then we simply need to stack this on top of the other shape. The red goes on top. Like that. That goes in here. And that is the shape that we need to now deliver into the vortex. Spaghetti begin. Like that. Let me cut away some of this stuff that we don't need. Careful with this cutting. There we go. That gets rid of that part of the belt. And in theory, that should get us the shape that we need. Although painter previews take so long to update that we can't really tell for a while. Alright, our first of this shape has been delivered, but we want to work on the milestone shape first. At the moment, we're just building this top blue part. Now we need a blue semicircle, which doesn't exist anywhere. So we would need to cut a circle from somewhere and paint it blue. And then we need the red windmill parts. The red emerald, not windmill. Windmill? Emerald? Yeah, windmills, alright? The red windmill parts. Trying to find the easiest place to get red windmills. Can get it from up here as well. This asteroid isn't really big enough. Can get it from here. Guess we'll get it from here, because we've got the red and we've got the half windmill. Hopefully we have enough platform units to complete this. So we grab our miner from here. We'll need to clockwise rotate this 3 times. That should get us our windmill in the right position. Then we need our half destroyer over here. That gets us our half windmill. We need to paint that red. So it makes sense to bring it towards this area that we're doing stuff. We've got just barely enough of an asteroid to get our red fluid out. Into a painter you go. And that should get us our top bit of the shape. As for the bottom bit of the shape, we need enough asteroid and blue paint to do that. Where can I get my circles from? We don't have enough on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're 1 tile short over here. That's annoying. But there's circles over here. There's a full circle over here we can use. Oh, we'd have to set up a bespoke design for this. This is so annoying. Where's another circle I could use? I can use this red circle. Oh, these asteroids are so small. I can bring the circle from here. And there's blue over here as well. We'll just do it from this circle. It'll be a little bit longer in terms of belting, but at least I don't have to deal with craziness. So we'll get a minor Mark 2 here. A minor Mark 2 here. And then we need to quarter this circle. Like that. That gets me my 2 quarter circles. One of them needs to be blue. Get our fluid miner here. Get our painter over here. Get a belt there. Get a belt there. Now we've got our blue quarter circle. We need to merge them together to make this shape. They're both at the bottom right hand corner. So if we just clockwise rotate this one, then merge this together, like that. That should get us our blue circle thingy-mabob that we need. Start bringing that over to base. Around here somewhere. That needs to stack with this red thing. With the red on top. Well, what my top and the bottom is. These are all going on top. That's the bottom. So that is the correct orientation. And that should get us our correct shape out. If I orientated it correctly. By rotating this clockwise. And our shape preview gets us this correct shape. That needs to merge with whatever we're making over here. This blue shape. So we'll bring that across. We'll go underneath, bring it back up. That blue shape needs to now rotate twice. Then we just need to stack it, and order shouldn't matter in this case. Move that back a little bit. Put our stacker in. Get that in. And that should not load a shape preview, but in theory, that will get what we need. That's being delivered now. We can start working on this pin task while we wait and confirm that this is actually working. Look at this crazy spaghetti mess, and we're running out of platform again. But the next part of this shape is this thing. So we're delivering this shape, but we've used up all of our asteroids here. We need to somehow make this quarter red circle with a quarter blue circle. Quarter blue square, sorry. So we can get our 3/4 of a red circle here. If we just remove this bottom part, we can do a bespoke design for that. But where do we get a blue square from? Anywhere. There's blue here, there's a square here. All right, we'll just do that. So if we take this 3/4 of a circle and we do a 3/4 cut from it, we should be able to steal what we've done here, I believe. Let's see if that gets us the shape that we want. That's 3/4 of a red circle. Nice. That was easy. Now we just need to paint a blue square. So we need to first extract the blue square. Or extract a square. Quarter cut that. That should give us our quarter square. We need to paint that blue and bring it over here somewhere. I can steal a fluid miner from one of these two. This one. Tuck that there. Bring a pipe out. I don't have a Mark 1 painter, do I? Mark 1 painting array. Let's hope this thing works. Looks like it might work. That should get me my blue quarter circle. The position of the quarter circle is on the bottom right, but the hole here is in the top right. So I need to rotate one of these twice. And then we simply need to stack it. And this is all in Mark 1. So we'll have to steal a Mark 1 stacker from somewhere. And then just stack these two together. Like that. And does that get me the shape that I need? Looks awfully like it. Although now we've got a problem where that shape and this shape are on opposite sides of the world. So I'll have to bring this over somehow. It would make sense to flip this. Like that. Then we can bring it over to the other side of the world. We'll bring it down. Across here. And it will stack with this shape, but we probably need to do some stuff to this shape. So we'll bring that out. Look at the orientation of this shape. It's opposite to what we need it to be. And is this shape opposite to what we need it to be? No. But if we clockwise rotate it once, it will be opposite to what we need it to be. So chuck a clockwise rotator here. Then we just need to put it through a stacker. Steal one of these stackers. Put it there. Get that in. Get that in there. Get that in there. If we get a shape preview, it is green, so we are getting the shape that we want. Fantastic. In the meantime, let's see if Milestone 2's shape is correct. That's this one over here. It's still taking its sweet, sweet time to travel, but do we have a shape preview yet? Not yet. Let's see what's wrong. Is this shape coming out? That is correct. Yup. And it's on the bottom. And this one's on the top. But did they flip this on me? No, that is correct. I'm looking at the wrong shape. Alright, cool. We got a shape preview and it says it's correct. Fantastic. Everything's going. We can start working on the third part of this shape. Or, like, well, there's no point doing the milestone part right now because the milestone shape changes completely, right? The order of everything just completely changes on me. So I'd rather work on this third shape, which is the same, I want to say, as the previous shape with one extra layer on it. Where can we make that layer? Well, we've got red circles here. We've got most of the shape here if we just cut out the bottom bit, and then we just need to mix it with a square. Which is easier said than done because there's no squares anywhere. Well, we can steal the squares from here by reordering some of the stuff around here. So if we move that there, move that there, then we can get squares out of there. Yeah, that should work. Now we need a 3/4 cut this red circle so we can steal the same design as we did before. Let me just pull out a thing. Take that 3/4 red circle and cut out a quarter of it. Are we cutting out the correct quarter of it? Doesn't look like it. Try a rotation. When you don't want to think, you can always do trial and error. Does that look like the right shape? Yes. Now we just need a uncolored square on the top of that. And our square is here. So we can build that, and that. Quarter cut the square. That should get us a quarter square at the bottom right. And where is this? Top left. So we need to rotate something twice. Let's just bring it over. Bring this over. I don't know why I'm doing it here. Get a rotator in here. Doing multi-level stuff now. Don't worry, all this spaghetti is gonna get deleted when I have trains. We'll just do it all on the bottom level. Why not? They gave us 2 levels of the overworld. We might as well use them. Get our stacker in. Doesn't matter what order. Like that. And that should get us the correct shape that we need for the next part. And it's rotated directly opposite of what we need, but that's okay because this whole shape is rotated directly opposite of what we need. So we can prep this by going across here, and that shape is going to be ready to merge with this shape whenever we need it. Yeah, that makes sense. These are going, so we'll just chill for a bit. We still got 280 platform units, so we can start getting to work soon. I know I'm definitely unlocking the counterclockwise stacker at some point. Why have we got an error here? Something here it doesn't like. There's an extra platform, I'm hoping. That's my Mark 1 painter, it doesn't really matter. So we're just chilling for a bit because my spaghetti mess is too spaghetti at the moment. And I don't have any more vortex inputs to do new stuff anyway. We're using up all of our vortex inputs. We do need to unlock more vortex inputs at some point as well. Yeah, might need another set of vortex inputs at some point. Damn, that costs 3 as well. These things used to be cheap when I could very easily smash tasks in and get unlocks, but the tasks are so difficult to do. But I think I need to invest in vortex inputs next, because otherwise how am I going to get more stuff through? Interesting. Maybe somehow the new train system will help us out. Oh, I think I figured out why the cutter speed is 22. Because it's actually 22.5 times 4 would make the conveyor belt. Yeah. I just cut out the decimal place, that's why it looks so weird. Alright, let's get this sorted out now. Oops. We still want this in the same order, we just want it like a bit further back. So we want that there. We want this a bit further back. We'll go underneath here and route this up like that. Then these two need to stack with this thing on top. So we'll get another stacker. And this is the underneath layer. And this is the on top layer. And in theory, that should get us the shape that we need. Unlock. Why am I missing a belt here? Something weird is happening here. 1, 2, 3. This is fine. Did I do something weird here? Oh, I'm using the wrong painter. We need our Mark 1 painting array. Otherwise, that won't work. Wait. Where's my painter? There is no painter. Why is this not working? Oh. Need my Mark 1 stacking array. Like that. That should get us the correct output. And then this should all be now correct. Except my updates are not working. Alright, that's giving all the correct shape for the next one, which will be fantastic because that will give us 2 more points. Oh man, I was hoping that would give us 6 points. This shape then just changes completely on me. So we might just have to like rework this from something because I have no idea what the heck this is. It just becomes 3 circles stacked on top of each other and it's just completely different. And then this shape is also just completely different. So yeah, it's just trolling at this point. It's not going to give me easy points. But with 3 research points, we can finally unlock nothing. Gotta get our rotators. I need my rotators. Alright, so we're just chilling until this milestone is done and then we can prep to do this final milestone. What has changed here? Everything has changed here. The bottom layer is now this layer. Then what is the second layer? The second layer has the green bits on it. Where's the green windmill right now? The green windmill is here. So this green windmill no longer needs to be done like this. The green layer has split apart. Okay, so we've got to change the green windmill bit to then layer on top of this. Then the green circle part needs to become a green semicircle. And then be on the third layer with 2 sets of red windmills. So we need another set of red windmills on top as well. Oh man, this is a completely different shape. We could only use like one part of this. We'll have to just do this in the dirtiest way possible and then just let it run, honestly. Because once we have trains, everything changes. We can clean all this up and use the proper shapes as intended. Is third level no longer a thing? Do I just get third level as part of my milestone now? I don't see where the third platform. Is the third platform floor the same? Did they change that? Or is that like a hard mode thing? Because I don't see third platform over here anywhere. Shape multiplier? What the heck is that? That's new. Don't worry about the wires. These are all train station stuff. These are foundations. Ah, third building floor. Yeah. We need to get this ourselves at some point. Does the train still has the vortex launcher? I feel like they've removed the vortex launcher. The vortex launcher was awesome. I can't believe they got rid of that. Okay, that's fine. Progression will just be very slow until we can unlock the third floor. Then we can design all our final blueprints. Alright, one of our pin tasks is done. That gives us just enough points to unlock the counterclockwise rotator, which will hopefully save us some platforms. The 180 rotator is just a luxury we can't afford right now. Alright, our final milestone shape is done, so we've got to do the last part of milestone 2. The starting point for the last part of milestone 2 is actually this shape, because that is the correct bottom 1.5 layers. So what we're going to do is move that back a bit so we have room to work. I kind of want to move it all the way back like here somewhere. So if I move it like this, and then we just put this down and just bring that across over here, that should give us our correct starting shape, right? It won't let me verify that, but I'm going to have faith that I haven't changed anything. So with the correct starting shape, we now need to start layering all the bits and bobs on top. First of all, we need the green thing. I'm going to keep everything separated. So instead of this being weirdly diagonal, we just want to replace it with that. And this shape that's coming out doesn't need to be merged anymore. It's going to travel on 2 separate belts. But this should give us our this thing. And that can travel that way. That, similarly, if we just remove one of these, should give us our semicircle that we can paint green as well. So let's just bring that over to the painter as well. I mean, we can paint it once and then recut it, but I don't think we need to do that sort of complexity. What would be much easier would just to get a second painting array. Go under and back up. Copy that over. And bring that in. That should, in theory, give me my now green windmill half and green semicircle half. The green windmill half needs to go over here and merge. I believe this is the windmill half. It's going to delete this. Just flush it so that it can start running. And similarly with this, I'm just going to flush it so that it can keep running. Cool. So this is the green windmill half. And we no longer want to merge it with this thing. Because we're going to need this shape somewhere, but I'm not sure where. We might need to like redo this shape. Yeah, we definitely do. And get rid of this. So with this green windmill shape, we need to bring it over and stack it with this thing. So I'm going to bring it down like this. This is done wrong. It needs to be brought up here. And that's why that wasn't working. Just trying to figure out, that's in the correct orientation. We need to bring the green windmill shape into the right orientation, which is a counterclockwise rotator. I'm going to make a new folder in here, and we're going to call this rotators. We're going to take that one there, clockwise and counterclockwise rotators, put the rotator here. Now I want a counterclockwise rotation on my green windmill at some point. You just do it here like this, and this should give me my green windmills rotated properly. Nope, it was a clockwise rotation. here we go again with my not knowing the difference between clockwise and counterclockwise. But that's the green windmills up the top. And that's this thing where the green windmills need to go. Let's just verify that. Top layer. Yep, that's correct. So let's get another stacker going. Now that goes on top. Nope. That goes on top. Like that. We'll move that over one. And in theory, this should be... It's not going to give me a shape preview. It's too complicated for shape previews now. But that should be the correct first two layers. What is the third layer? Is a half green circle and a red windmill shape. Well, our half circle is over here and is in the correct orientation now. So we can bring it over and then we can stack that on top. Or what would be better... Well, let me flush this belt too. What would be better if we just made this shape? This red windmill shape. We don't have a red windmill. This is new. Can we get that shape from somewhere though? Surprisingly not. We'd have to bring red windmills from somewhere. Ah, here. Here's a red windmill. So, 291 platform limit. That's going to be a little bit difficult now. But we're almost there. Get a minor Mark II out of there. Now if we counterclockwise rotate that, that should get us our windmill in the correct position. Then if we half destroy it, that should get us our half a windmill, and we just need to paint it red, which we can do by bringing it over that side. Now I hope I have enough stuff to do this. We need more red paint. Get our painter. There's our half red windmill. Now it's obviously in the wrong orientation. We need the half red windmill facing upwards, right? Yep. So that's a counterclockwise rotation in theory. Now that red windmill part needs to merge with this green semicircle, and that's going to be a very long belt. But we should have enough platform units for it. And our green semicircle is here. Stacker in any order. And that should get us our third layer. Our third layer needs to come down along here and stack on top of this. And that needs to be on the bottom. So like this. And that's our third layer done. And while we wait for that to saturate, I'm going to just delete all of this. And just give it some room to delete itself. We need to work on this top layer shape, which is this shape, but in a different order. Oh, no. No. Yeah, okay. So this top layer, because it's changed order completely, we can't just do this. Oh, that's annoying. Because we're using this exact shape. We need to like reorder one of these shapes. This is the correct shape. This needs to be cut and restacked back into itself, which I don't know what's easier to do because we don't really have a platform that does that process, but it's a flip process, right? So it's basically, if we take this shape into a cutter, that cuts it apart. And now we need to rotate one, because if we just stick this back together, oh, this is where the swapper would have been super handy. But basically we need to rotate one clockwise and one counterclockwise. And in theory, if we stick these two shapes back together, we should get the correct shape. And the bent stacker makes this super annoying. Or if we rotate this 180, then we can put the bent stacker here. And then we can go up and over like that. That should flip the shape. That needs to go out one more. So that can go in. that needs to go into there. And that should flip the shape, in theory. So we need 4 of these. Can I make this slightly more condensed? Not really. Not without my 180 rotator. What have I done? This is going to be annoying to build though. So I put 1 here. 1 here. 1 here. And 1 here. That should be okay. Something like that. Then that needs to go out. But we need another 4 of these. Because this is only working on 1 level now. Oh my god, this is stupid. We'll do this the dumbest way possible. Which is just bringing that one over here. We'll bring this out like this. One of them will go out in 1 level. And one of them will go out on level 2. Like this. Like this. Like that. And then now that's facing that way. And that should get us this shape, which needs a 180 degree rotation. That's facing downwards. So if we rotate this counterclockwise 90, rotator, counterclockwise 90, that should get us the top part of that shape, which should be able to now stack with this. Like this. And that should get us the full shape that we need. At the correct volume. We will need to rotate this counterclockwise 90 again. And that gets it into the right orientation. Goes down here, gets painted red, and that's our top layer. We can delete this now. Get rid of that. Let's make sure this is correct now. I feel like this is all stuck for some reason. Is it just waiting for this thing to travel? Is this thing not outputting anything? That's not coming out with anything. What is this? No, it's just traveling. It's been traveling for like 1 billion years. That's fine, because this thing also needs to travel. So we'll bring that one down while we're waiting to over here somewhere. So we'll bring it this way. Go down, up, over here somewhere. And then the output of this, does it give me a shape preview yet? No, it's too far away. The output of this needs to stack with this. This is the bottom, like that. And then we'll just bring that down under here and up and over here. In theory, that should be the correct shape that we need. Where do we even input this? And why is this connected? We need to input this here and into there. That's the final input. Alright, cool. Now we just gotta wait half an hour for all this to kick into gear, and we're at our platform limit. So hopefully that'll just deliver 14k of milestone 2, and then we'll be done with that. I'll be back when this shape finally arrives to confirm whether we're actually making the correct shape or not. Alright, after about 15 minutes of waiting for my longest shape to finally arrive, I believe this green tick finally indicates we are indeed correctly creating this milestone shape now. So all we have to do is wait for 14,000 of these milestone shapes. You might be asking why I don't do these pin tasks while I'm waiting. Just because once we get this next milestone unlocked, we're gonna get access to like everything that we need. Trains, so we can have proper staging areas, build all their shapes up properly from base shapes. Hopefully we'll get some, yeah, we'll be able to clear out this crap that we're doing, rebuild everything with trains, and that way everything will be a lot faster. But for now, we're just going to wait for this milestone shape to deliver. 14,000 should take probably like 30 minutes, and then we can start cooking. I realize I'm doing something really stupid, and that's I haven't been delivering any of this stuff on 2 levels. So I was completing these milestone 2 shapes at half speed, I guess. That's great. I'm clever. I'm good at this game, I swear. Well, we remedied that now so that this thing should deliver faster. That's okay, silly mistakes are bound to happen if you watch my channel. Anyway, we're just going to be waiting for all of these to deliver, but now we should be able to deliver these at double speed. We can confirm all of these old shapes are still delivering on 1 level, which is fine. Alright guys, check it out. I went to run some errands and now we're back. And finally, our milestone 2 is complete, unlocking us all these amazing technologies. So this is the new train system. It looks very similar to the old one. I'm not really sure what difference there is, but we'll figure it out next episode. We've got some new tasks. Yep, new purchasable upgrades, more train stuff. Amazing. Later milestone unlocks launching directly into the vortex. So this thing still does exist. Amazing. Cool. I must be blind because I am not seeing the vortex launcher. Yeah, I have no idea. Maybe you have to like unlock all the trains to get the vortex launcher or something. Who knows? But either way, we've finished milestone 2, so now we are on to milestone 3, but more importantly, next episode, we can gut all this crap that we've done and create proper staging areas using our train to bring all the materials to some central place to allow us to do our tasks a little bit easier. And we will pick some nice spots to do our milestones as well. So if you don't want to miss out on that, don't forget to leave a like and sub, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.